Praise be, bitches! I am Insane Lane, and today we will look at the Hulu series Handmaid's Tale, Episode 4, Nolite Bastardes Carbourundorum. This one has such a special place for me. I have been writing those words in notebooks for more than a decade. Also, the night that this aired, May the 3rd. That's my birthday. And this particular year was my 30th birthday. So on my 30th birthday comes the episode with the title that is my personal mantra for a show that I have been secretly praying to any deity who would listen to for as long as I can remember. This is how I know two things. One, that God exists, and two, that she has a very fine sense of irony. That said, let's break it down. We open in the past again, this time as the happy family at a carnival or fair. But Offred quickly snaps herself out of it, saying that if she spends too long in the past, she might not come back. She's been trapped in her room for nearly 2 weeks. The shutters are closed, there's no light, she's not allowed to go shopping or even come down to the kitchen for meals. Because she's been a bad girl. She didn't get pregnant like she was supposed to. This touches on something that is largely left out of the show at this point. The link in Gilead between getting pregnant and devotion. The handmaids are treated similar to nuns in theory, that they hold a sacred duty and that they have a special spiritual station or calling. God has given them the blessing of fertility, therefore they are exalted, and so on and so on. So she's being punished for not being devout enough. Because surely if she prayed enough and was sincere, she would have gotten knocked up. Because that's how that works. This is a perfect example of Serena Joy's hypocrisy. So, before Gilead came to power, and Serena Joy was the one doing the praying, and she failed to conceive, did she shut herself away in the bedroom for days on end? Did she go to her husband and tell him that she failed because she wasn't pious enough? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Then we see how she survives this torture.
I'm like an explorer.
By pulling a yellow wallpaper and creeping around the room, and that someone has forgotten one of the lights.
It's a message. For me.
And we're reminded there was an Offred before. Likely it was she that carved it, meaning she too had a reason to be lying on the floor in the closet. And she knew the next handmaid would too. Then more carving, only it's Moira back at the Red Center. And they're near the end of their re-education as they are about to be posted, whatever that means. They are at this point still thinking that the fertility stuff involves a turkey baster. We'll get to that later. Then we're told this fun fact.
If they catch you writing, you will lose a hand.
Moira is 100% correct, like the message that Offred finds.
You had to be brave to do this.
It connects the women together somehow and gives them a sense of not being so alone. That there is other women out there, that they know what you're going through, and they left this message for you.
You were up early?
Work.
Is it the UN?
Is that a laptop I see? So there is computer technology here. Just only for the men to use. The whole exchange between Serena and the commander is just packed full of information on the world outside Gilead. This is something we rarely hear about. We learn the euro is on the verge of collapse, there are trade embargoes against Gilead, and that an aunt has escaped. I note that even the commander calls it this. He doesn't say she ran away. He says escaped. And more than that she made it across the border and gave an interview to the Toronto Star. Yes, that's a real paper for anyone wondering. So now we get a bit of an idea of where we are. They must be very close to the southern Ontario border. Think about it. The aunt would have been on foot most of, if not all of the way, being actively pursued by the government. She can't have gotten that far, meaning the border can't be that far. This proximity is very important throughout the rest of the season.
Lies and hyperbole, everything in the worst possible light.
The commander is quick to reassure Serena Joy that the interview is fake news, and when she makes a suggestion on how they should respond to it, he says, "Oh no, you stop that thinking there, little lady. You don't worry your pretty little head about it."
We've got good men working on it.
Yep. Men are working on it. so everything's gonna be fine.
Rita, what's wrong with you?
Granted, it's weird to see someone's legs sticking out of the closet, but this reaction seems a bit much. Then there's the incredibly weird tension between Offred and Rita as Offred tries to explain why she was on the floor. And why does she need to explain? Because she has to explain everything. Every move she makes, every word, every glance must have a reason and be explained, or she's in trouble. And we also learn, of course, that Rita is reporting to Serena Joy.
She fainted.
No, that's what she said.
What a fucking bitch! At first she's just faking it, but after being reminded the ceremony is tonight, so she'll have to be near Offred, she decides it might be a good idea to make sure she's not contagious. Though she's clearly not buying the I fainted story, which if she wasn't such a bitch, I would give her credit for. But she is, so fuck her.
An hour of outside, and rain, and flowers, and fresh fucking air.
She is so excited at the simple prospect of being rained on and seeing flowers. But Mrs. Waterford ain't about to give up her crusade of being nasty, so instead of getting to walk for a little while and get a taste of, for lack of a better word, freedom, such as it is, no, she will be driven, and even in the car, she's gonna break the bitch meter by the end of the episode. Then we're back to the Red Center where the sickest truth of all is revealed. But first, a heavy dose of bullshit.
A new family. And they won't judge you for your looks or your clothes or your ability to sound clever. They will love you for the blessing only you can provide.
Yeah, I'm sure the wives are just thrilled at the prospect of having a live-in sex slave and being forced to watch their husbands fuck another woman. And we're told how this will be done. That it's a sacred ritual, a very holy practice.
Moira?
Are you saying that we will be having intercourse with the men?
Go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees that I may have children by her.
Yep, time to lay back and spread, ladies. Don't you feel divine? I could spend all day on this scene, but I think Moira sums it up the best. Moving on, we get an all-white, overly bright doctor's office. I love that shot. Not just the pictures of the babies with the wives and the commanders, but if you look closely, 2 of the pictures are just a wife. No husband. What up with that? Then the doctor comes in and June is already up in the stirrups because that's the only part of her health that matters.
Raining cats and dogs out there. No, it's good for my tomatoes.
This surprises me. He sounds so normal. No praise be, no under his eye. Just, hi, and isn't this great weather for tomatoes? But June doesn't respond to anything except medical questions. And he tells her a lot of girls faint on ceremony nights. Gee, I wonder why. He asks her how she's being treated by the family. Mainly by Mrs. Waterford, I'm sure. He can tell that she's lying and offers just to listen, but even he admits there's nothing he can do to help her. But she won't take the chance of even just using him to vent, because anyone can be an eye, and anyone could be listening from the next room. But he persists and makes this offer.
Waterford's probably sterile.
I can help you. It could be the only way for you.
Yeah, he's offering to breed her right there. Because, like he says, Waterford is probably sterile, and when she doesn't conceive a baby, they won't blame him. But this is too big a risk, and June turns him down. And thankfully he does take no for an answer, or I would have completely lost my shit. On the way home, June starts to flash back to the fair. But it's not enough anymore. I like that Nick doesn't even react. He just keeps calmly driving. Like maybe this has happened before. All too soon, they're back at the house, and faced with the prospect of going back to her room, she goes to Serena Joy and begs. Literally begs.
Please. Let me out.
But her bitch meter is still stuck in overdrive, so it's...
Go back to your room.
Then the big moment we all knew was coming. The escape from the Red Center. They tie up an ant, take her clothes, and Moira and June walk right out the front door.
Where are you taking this handmaid?
Open the gate.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that she doesn't answer him, and that's okay. She's dressed as an aunt, she has a pass, and that's good enough. Out they stroll into a very, very different world than the one they were taken from. Then back to the present as it's time for the ceremony. Everything's just like before, with one slight difference.
He can't be in here yet.
This is the one time he is supposed to wait. This is Serena Joy's domain tonight. She is none too pleased when she comes in and he is already there. No knock for her permission tonight. The story is read, and then it's rape time. Only the commander is having some trouble. It seems to have dawned on him that this is a very messed up situation, so the little commander's having some trouble reporting for holy duty. Serena Joy even goes to him and tries to help, which he's content to let her, till she gets on her knees and starts to blow him. Then he rejects her and walks away, leaving Offred once again.
Go back to your room.
And she ain't holding up well.
I feel like the word shatter.
She goes into the closet. Her only escape from the four walls of her room are four even tinier walls. Back to Moira and June escaping and seeing just how much things have changed. Nice shout out to Toronto City Hall there. We don't know exactly how long they've been at the Red Center, but it's long enough for this. And this. And this. All three sites are incredible. People are being executed en masse, books and art are being burned, writing, signage, all traces of anything familiar are being destroyed. Just like with the church in the last episode, Gilead will not just conquer the former, it will erase it. The escape is short-lived as they make the biggest mistake two people escaping danger can make. Yes, they make the horror movie mistake, splitting up. They are only steps apart, but it's too late for June. She tries to cover it first, but she knows she's caught when he starts asking for her ID. And Moira is forced to leave her behind or risk them both getting caught. Remembering Moira seems to revive June a bit, and she sneaks downstairs for Scrabble. And pumps the commander for a bit of information. This is the first time we hear about possible trade with Mexico, and then the commander says something unthinkable.
Hand me the dictionary.
And while stroking the forbidden volume, she sees the Latin dictionary and puts it together. The other Offred was in here too. He did all of this with her too. And the question looms larger. What happened to her? We then flash back to her capture and return to the Red Center. She's been caught.
The most painful thing is not the betrayal of trust, June. Do you know what's most painful? The most painful thing in this entire ugly incident is the ingratitude.
Yes, she should be grateful because she was...
You were an adulterer, a worthless slut.
And now she'll get to be raped and have babies for other people like God intended. So they tie her down, and then the aunt that her and Moira tied up comes in and gets medieval. Back to the Scrabble, and she beats him this time. He demands a rematch for tomorrow, after the ceremony. She presses her luck and asks what the phrase in the closet means. She has to be careful about it because she can't tell him that it's there or admit that she's been reading. But, after much stalling, he does eventually tell her what it means. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And now they both know. And we learn the former Offred's fate.
She killed herself. Hung herself from the ceiling.
She is dead, plain and simple. Mystery solved. But this gives Offred a way to get out of her room. She comes damn close to threatening the commander. It's impressive.
I'm afraid I'm starting to give up. I certainly wouldn't want to give up.
Translation: make your bitch of a wife let me out and back the fuck off, or I might just off myself like the last one did. And somehow, he does. But she is not happy about it. Well, too bad for Serena Joy, because just like at the Red Center when the other girls brought her food as a show of support, they support each other out here too.
Nolite de bastardes Carbourundorum, bitches.
I I couldn't have said it better myself. Made me laugh?
The ceremony is a sacred ritual.
Yes, a long-standing and sacred ritual dating back to at least last Thursday. You go, girl. For Moira. Getting on the train and leaving her friend behind. It's the right choice to make, however much it hurts. And for June, shamelessly manipulating the commander to get out of her room. Nitpick goes to Nick for his continued pathetic puppy comments to June. Nothing against the actor, but I really hope Nick is killed off in the first 5 minutes of season 2. Ironic feminist goes to Rita for treating Offred like shit, but getting her out of her room to go to the doctors. At least that's something. Dick of the episode is once again the commander. I do try to spare him, but his silence on Offred's treatment for weeks, and the public diss to his wife by being in her space without permission, leaves me no choice. And that is episode 4 of Hulu's The Handmaid's Tale, Nolite Bastades Carbourundorum. I am Insane Lane, blessed be, bitches. Bye-bye.